The Clark commercial completely upended the internet. 1 minute after the advertisement ran, the sneaker sold out, setting a new record. Yes, only one. And very immediately, a swarm of critics lost their minds. Nike's choice to use Caitlin Clark in a solo advertisement was not only based on branding. Many detractors are incensed at the crowning of a new female sports queen. Rival fan bases and antagonistic veterans have been very critical. But the louder they grow, the clearer it becomes. There's no stopping Caitlin's ascent. The real question is how far her critics will go to prevent something that they clearly have no control over. Before we move forward, let's pause and reflect all of the anger and criticism. What exactly did Nike display that sent the internet into a tailspin? Let's take a look at the commercial that has everyone talking. Serene, laser-focused, and completely in the zone. At the start of the commercial, Caitlin Clark is seen putting on her sneakers. As she ties the laces, the camera focuses on her gaze. They briefly flare yellow and flash and slit. It's quick but powerful. A bold nod to Kobe Bryant's legendary Black Mamba and an announcement that Clark is ready to assume leadership.
Bouncing connection. Raised in on a delectable dime from Caitlin Clark.
Before the sneakers were formally released, fans had already seen Caitlin Clark wearing them while playing collegiate basketball. At the time, most people thought it was her go-to pair. Many people didn't know, though, that she called them her magic shoes. They weren't simply special to her, as it turns out. Now that everyone can wear them, they were supposed to become a global phenomenon.
The shoes? Yeah, I packed 3 pairs. I didn't know which ones I was going to go with. All had a little bit of yellow in them. But these are my Bruce Lee Kobe's that have worn literally every big game of my career at Iowa. So I was like, I have to break them out. So I didn't pick any of my PEs today. You could probably get these or find them, probably buy them on the secondary market, but they're kind of hard to come by. But I mean, there was no other option. I had to choose these, and yeah, they're kind of like my magic shoes, honestly.
Critics and haters launched various tirades against the shoes and the advertising. Not everyone approved of Nike's plan to combine Kobe and Caitlin.
I was having a argument, or I would say a friendly debate with a friend of mine about this, and he said that, because Caitlin hasn't, because she's fairly new in the WNBA. I know this is the second year, but she hasn't proven that she could sell shoes, so the collaboration is a smart move by Nike, because you add a big thing like Kobe Bryant to it, it's gonna sell.
And the clip told it all. His voice was annoyed by more than just the commercial. It was related to what it was trying to say. He didn't believe Nike's pairing of Kobe's history with Caitlin Clark was a compliment. It acted as a support. He didn't believe she could sell shoes on her own, not without the backing of someone as iconic as Kobe Bryant. He thought that the Black Mamba effect was responsible for all of the hard effort. But here's the twist. Nevertheless, those sneakers sold out in just a minute. Thus, it might not be essential for Caitlin to have Kobe. Some individuals continued to deny that she didn't because of this. His terrible viewpoint is demonstrated by the historical struggles of women's sports, especially the WNBA, in regard to media support and viewership. Sales of signature shoes are even less frequent than large-scale advertising. Therefore, he thought that a female athlete, especially a rookie, could never accomplish those types of feats on her own. He believes that the Kobe tie-in is the only reason the shoes sold out. Only Kobe, not her fame, not her talent, and not the millions of fans that come to see her play. And that mindset is exactly what makes events like these important.
For some of you guys, you had an absolute movie today on Nike Sneakers app. But let's be real, a majority of us saw this screen today from the Caitlin Clark Kobe drop. Like all the sneaker blogs have been tweeting all weekend long.
The first 13,000 pairs were sold out less than a minute after they were released. As a result, Caitlin Clark made him take back his remarks. As secondary markets grew and the pairs were selling for $350 to $600, the $190 retail price became obsolete. According to StockX, the top indicator of sneaker value, the most sought-after sizes ultimately sold for up to $800, while the average resale price was $360. However, this is where the interesting part begins. While some haters and detractors denigrated Caitlin, many of her admirers questioned why Nike did act faster. It was clear that Caitlin Clark was the genuine deal as soon as she joined the WNBA. Nike was experiencing internal conflict, though. Before signing a deal with Caitlin Clark, they were trying to promote another superstar, and this is now where part of the criticism is coming from. Nike's first endeavor was A'ja Wilson, a standout with the Las Vegas Aces. They tried to position her as the underdog by using eye-catching advertising and offering her a $20 million deal that would be paid out annually. But the terrible truth for A'ja is that it is simply impossible to generate what Caitlin Clark offers. Nike went above and above. Yet, Caitlin Clark had already created a great deal of momentum on her own to promote A'ja Wilson. While still in college, she had an incredible economic impact for the city of Iowa of $82 million without the need for corporate support. All Clark ever needed was a ball and a hoop. However, Nike was too preoccupied with checking off social justice talking points to see that the real game changer was already in front of them.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial?
And that's what's fueling so much animosity. During the previous season, A'ja Wilson and her squad made an effort to depict themselves as being overlooked because of a specific rookie. She went on to charge Caitlin Clark with taking advantage of her privileges as a white girl.
It's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball. Like, she understands her privilege and like, pushes her over the top. And it reminds me a lot of you.
The only things that made her famous were her distinctive A1 sneakers and her $20 million Nike contract. Despite the fact that Caitlin signed a $28 million deal with Nike during her rookie season, a recent release is forcing A'ja Wilson's apparel into the clearance, taking all of that away from her Caitlin Clark section. There is more to the Caitlin Clark effect than just a slogan. It's accurate, it's huge, and the numbers back that up. The WNBA saw its highest viewership in over 25 years while she was playing. The average viewership for Caitlin's Indiana Fever games was an incredible 1.09 million, compared to just 414,000 for those without her. That is a remarkable 163% rise. Moreover, there are other factors besides TV numbers. Her presence caused people to feel physically moved. The league-wide increase in attendance was 105%. Furthermore, her 41 appearances represented 33.5% of the total number of people who attended all WNBA games. That individual isn't getting any better. That's the needle.
I've said this again and again. Caitlin Clark is must-see TV. Caitlin Clark already is having Michael Jordan effect on the WNBA, the same effect Michael Jordan had in his first couple of years in the NBA.
Even before she became a professional, she was setting records. Her final collegiate game at the 2024 NCAA Women's Championship drew 18.9 million spectators. That is more than 4 million more than the men's final. She wasn't merely attracting attention. She was changing the guidelines to reflect what women's sports might accomplish.
She was an unstoppable force last season against Iowa, but was coming off the bench. Clark, oh my, from the future!
The most ridiculous part is that the Kobe edition, which has caused so much fuss, is just the start. Caitlin Clark's official signature, shoe, will still be accessible later this year. Just think of how her critics will react when that one goes down. Only 12 women have ever received a signature shoe in the WNBA's 28-year existence. That in itself tells you everything. Caitlin Clark has already made a name for herself as one of the greatest players of all time, even though she is only in her second season. After looking risky at first, Nike's $28 million deal is now looking like a fantastic deal. It is sending a strong message to rivals who signed angelry, such as Adidas and Reebok. A tiny percentage of what men make is no longer acceptable to female athletes. It strongly conveys to the corporate world that it is now very profitable to invest in female sports. And it's all the fault of one woman, Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. She is igniting a domino effect that will establish higher pay, bigger media deals, and profitable sponsorships as the new standard. Caitlin Clark has developed into more than simply a basketball player. She has begun to draw criticism. Whether she likes it or not, commentators who advance racist and destructive narratives. Her name is regularly used as bait to draw her into contentious political conversations. Furthermore, for a company like Nike, which is known for being careful and avoiding anything even somewhat messy, this was unknown terrain.
It looks to me like maybe 20% of the attention she gets is for her ratings and what she's doing for the league. And then the other 80% is people either criticizing her or coming after her, or the things with the refs, or we need to protect her. She needs a bodyguard, like all these peripheral things.
At first, Nike froze. Nike's response: they weren't sure how to react. Not because they didn't value her, but rather because they were afraid. They said nothing. However, after some time, a change occurred. Instead of attempting to win an unwinnable cultural issue, they decided to focus on what they do best, which is winning the market.
Now, she has an 8-year, $128 million deal with Nike. So, she's going to eat. Merchandise in the league went up off a rookie from a Midwest-based school on the worst team in the league, 234%. But here was the one that struck me. So before she got there, the Indiana Fever, the valuation of the franchise was $90 million. Remember, they play a short season. It's not like the NBA where it lasts like 6 months. After playing, 40 games, the valuation of that team now is $340 million.
While many were arguing online, the numbers were screaming the truth. Site traffic, demand for jerseys, TV ratings, and ticket sales were all trending in the same direction. Caitlin Clark was more than just popular. She was the leader. The data could not be ignored. One of the best examples is the low ratings the WNBA has had following Caitlin Clark's injury.
If you listen to the reports, Rebecca, they looked at Caitlin Clark and they said when she was out over these 5 games with a quadricep injury, there was a diminished interest to some degree in the WNBA.
While many were arguing online, the numbers were screaming the truth. Site traffic, demand for jerseys, TV ratings, and ticket sales were all trending in the same direction. Caitlin Clark was more than just popular. She was the leader. The data could not be ignored. One of the best examples is the low ratings the WNBA has had following Caitlin Clark's injury.